Hello there. Welcome to another episode of WOK TALK. As always, I can never remember to think of a fact about the walk beforehand, and so I'm always standing here going, what's a fact? What's a fact? Uh, could go over old facts like the fact that it was manufactured in Shenzhen, China. Cost was greatly reduced because it was produced over there. I could mention that it's got two little maple leaves engraved on here that you can't really see because they weren't engraved on very solidly. Talk about the potential future engravings, native and foreign, every child matters, we are all in this together, and stand on guard for the north, south, east, and west. Yeah, I guess the fact about the walk is I'm bad at coming up with facts about the walk. I'll cheat this time. Sorry about that. Legitimately, I will try to come up with a fact before I start. But let's get on with the squats because this thing's getting heavy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alrighty. Working through a knee injury, so that's all my squats for today. It's going to be no more squats. But a little exercise is better than no exercise. I'm wearing an extra jacket too. That made that a little bit warm. Oh, fuck. It's all ready to go. Now I am warm as fuck. Well, let's get going. I'll mostly be talking about the interaction I had in the comments last night. Someone actually commented on a previous episode of WOK TALK, but it was more of an argument than a civil conversation. I had mentioned that when I was trying to break up that fight, that there were some security guards across the way just kind of watching. And so somebody commented, they're not paid to break up fights between homeless people. And it went back and forth. But I would say my main point was I also don't get paid to break up fights between homeless people. And the two guys that jumped in and physically separated them also don't get paid to break up fights between homeless people. It makes me recall a scene from the movie Kick-Ass, a movie that I actually really, really hate because of the way the story pans out. But the first half of the movie is really inspiring, and it has this moment where Kick-Ass is defending somebody from getting gang beat. Like guys are beating the shit out of a guy, and all the people are filming and watching, but nobody's helping this guy who's getting his ass beat on the ground. And then the guys who are beating up Kick-Ass as he's just kind of shielding the guy from getting hit, they're asking him, "What's wrong with you? You have nothing to do with this. Why are you getting involved with this? What's wrong with you?" And his response is, "All these people are watching and doing nothing, and you're asking what's wrong with me?" And that makes them stop attacking him. Just the call to humanity kind of thing. But I don't think it's fair to say that all those teenagers with cell phones over there should jump in and intervene into every situation because they could get hurt really badly. Where Kick-Ass, he's got a number of things that make him prepared for combat. I won't go into the character of Kick-Ass, but he was a person who was putting himself at risk in order to protect somebody. He didn't know who they were. He didn't know if that guy owed that other guy money, but he intervened. And But while he was intervening, the question was asked, "What's wrong with you?" And just for the simple fact that you're intervening. And I had a similar interaction where he was kind of like, he first he said, "It's not the security guard's problem, and it's barely the cops' problem to deal with breaking up these fights." But then he said, "I should have called the cops instead." And it's like, well, everything was already going down. By the time you call the cops, it's already over. Somebody could be dead in that amount of time, or beaten up so badly that they, who knows how long you could have to recover from a broken face, like, or a broken anything, or you get punched in the windpipe once and it's all over, man. Like, you got to be careful. And I understand that's why it's stupid for me to go running into any situation, but that's why you could argue it's stupid to step outside your door. That's part of samurai philosophy, is stepping out of your door is like meeting the enemy. And I think that is a very true philosophy. But the thing is, the enemy could be there before you step out the door. But that's just a baseline to kind of give yourself some peace, where it's like, maybe I'm not facing the enemy here at home, but once I'm out the door, I got to be prepared for anything. And I'm not as prepared as I should be. I've mentioned this before, but I used to wear a lot more gear. Used to have some titanium plates that made me feel very safe, which I don't have anymore. And I don't have that safe feeling that comes with it because, well, I'm not being safe. And but I think that's just it. Is I'm intervening, and there's guys over there that have body armor on, and they're just watching. And I'm being told that it's not their job to break up these fights; it's their job to protect broken windows or whatever. And it's like, that sucks, like the guys that have the body cams and the body armor, they're not going to do anything. And I will argue that at most businesses in Grand Prairie, security guards wouldn't just watch something like that happen. They would intervene. I'm going mostly by co-op downtown where I work. Those security guards maybe are a little too proactive sometimes. No, not too much shade on them. But they're not going to let somebody be attacked and do nothing. Like, and I have and that goes back to the whole kick-ass question of what's wrong with you people just watching. Is it more acceptable to just watch something, or is it more acceptable or reasonable to intervene and try to help? I think it's okay to choose either. I think I was getting a little bit heated in my responses, and I was kind of like asking, well, what the fuck are security guards good for if they're not going to intervene? But he was correct when he said, well, it's not technically their job to do that. And it's like, fair enough. But I say, see the symbol, be the symbol. And I think when people think about security guards, they think of somebody who is a little bit proactive, So I'll just say it comes across as a little bit lame when guys in body armor are watching me, guy without body armor. I got a fucking free cape here. That doesn't protect me from damage. I will argue there are situations where you can use it to kind of wave things off. Like if a dog was attacking you, you could like wave your cape at it and to kind of like. But the thing is, it actually pisses off animals more than deters them. So that wouldn't actually work. I don't want to go into the pros and cons of capes at the moment, because I just want to discuss this concept of whether or not intervening is reasonable, or if not intervening is unreasonable. My whole thing is all the regular people standing around, I didn't expect them to do anything, and it was two regular guys who did something. They jumped in and pulled those guys apart, and they weren't paid to do it. It wasn't their job, but they did it. Maybe they saw Captain Canada failing so hard, it's like, well, he needs help. Maybe they would have did it anyways, because that's just the kind of people they are. I don't like the two sides of it's not my job and I'm just doing my job. Like, don't give me a hard time. I'm just doing my job. But that's, you become caged in your positions. And I understand that when I am working my regular job and I see a situation that I feel Captain Canada would get involved with, I have to not be Captain Canada. And that kills me a little bit, because it's like I want to always be there for somebody that needs me. When there's like an altercation between the security guards and homeless people, I would like to be there to speak up for the homeless person, but a lot of the times there's things I don't know about, and there have been previous instances where they dealt with that person, and it kills me that I don't look the other way. I watch. I am always a witness in case it goes down bad one way or the other, whether security is acting out of sorts or whether the person they're dealing with is acting out of sorts. Like either person could make a poor decision and assault somebody, and it's good to be an active witness, you know? Like I don't want to passively just continue on with my day and while that's going on, I'll just ignore that. I waste time, you could say, watching instances occur. And you could argue I'm actually not doing my job that I'm getting paid for, but at the same time, is it unreasonable to want to know that it's safe at the place that you work? Like any incident could, like speaking before, going outside is like meeting the enemy. Any small incident could blow up into a huge incident. And I think it's not unreasonable. It's not rubbernecking to want to watch and know if that was resolved. But people might disagree, and that's fair enough. You can disagree with that. You can say, do your fucking job. Don't waste your time watching security do his job. And I disagree. I waste time doing that. And if you call that a waste of time, that's fine. I just don't. I think it's a good use of my time, and it usually doesn't take up very much time at all. Most instances are done in a relatively short amount of time, and I want to be there to be a witness for security if someone ever accused them of something that they didn't do, just as much as if they were saying like I was assaulted. If someone is saying they were assaulted by security, I could be a witness to that. Not saying that's the case, but yeah, we're all in this together. We're all people, you know, and that's what bothers me about those comments about like, oh, these homeless fights are nobody's problem. It's like, it's not a homeless fight. This isn't bum fights. Fucking one man with questionable mental stability was accusing another man of taking something from him and escalated it to the point of attacking that man. And that guy, once he realized he was being assaulted, was fighting back. And so then it's a fight between two people, or it's kind of equal exchanging. And these are all things I want to be witness to in case, well, someone claims something else. And I'm not doing my part. What I should actually do during instances that is file a police report. I failed as Captain Canada, not making more of a record of what happened. So next time I'll do that. And in other situations, I would call the police. If I didn't feel there was something I could immediately do, I would definitely call the police. Or if it was more dangerous than I could handle. But when I see two guys just boxing each other, I don't think it's unreasonable for me to say I could do something. I can intervene. I just basically beg them to stop fighting, you know. And I wish I had done a little more, but at the same time, if I had actually physically gotten in between them, I might have gotten some fists to the face, or I might have, which was what my concern was. I didn't want to accidentally assist one guy and give the other guy a free opportunity to punch him, because I've had that experience when I was younger, being in a fight, having the fight broken up. I felt that I was held back and the other person was allowed to hit me. And I don't want that to happen to somebody else. But at the same time, in my hangups, I wasn't proactive enough. But two guys were more capable because they were able to separately get a hold of them. They were able to do more than I by myself was able to do. And yeah, again, I just want to say those guys are heroes. I'm sorry I call the security guards over there lame. They're just doing their jobs. Nobody should have to intervene. Nobody has to help out, but you would have been heroes too. And I'm not saying you're not a hero. I'm just saying in that situation, the two heroes were those guys. But being a hero isn't something that should be expected of everybody. That's why it's an extra normal thing. Why we think, wow, that's amazing, because it doesn't happen every day. If it was just expected, it would be your duty as a citizen or whatever. And maybe that would be a better world if everybody felt it was their duty to help one another. But I think that way of thinking might also lead to Karen type behavior, where it's like, I'm just helping society by complaining about you, and to a degree, that is how Karen helps society. I legitimately mean that. As annoying as it is when people complain about you, they're just concerned. And I'm concerned too. I just go about it in different ways. And you're concerned. That's why you leave a comment. Say, well, maybe you're not concerned. Maybe you're a little pissed off at me pointing out the security guards. I never said it was their job to help me, actually. I just um, was commenting on the fact that there was security guards watching and not doing anything. I'll just leave it at that. I didn't actually say it was their job. But maybe I can understand why that would be the insinuation there. Because I do expect a little bit more action from a security guard than a regular person. That's my point I wanted to get to. Is if it was just regular people all standing around, I didn't expect anybody to jump out, but it was regular people who did. But I wouldn't expect that from anybody. But part of me might expect a little action or attention from the security people, just because you're nearly dressed as a cop. I don't want to be mean and be like, you're cosplaying as a cop. That was kind of what I said in my comment, which was a little bit mean. No, you're a security guard. You're your own thing. But see the symbol, be the symbol. What does a security guard do? Are you a symbol of safety and security? Or are you just the guy who gets mad at somebody for breaking windows, which is also a legitimate job? I'm not trying to put too much shade on that, but what is the symbol of a security guard? Can you go to a security guard for help? If I was like, hey, can you give me a hand? Would you give me a hand? Would the human being underneath the uniform decide, hey, Captain Canada needs a hand. Maybe I can also go, whoa, 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 break it up. Maybe you wouldn't do it. I didn't do that much, so I shouldn't even really be talking. That's the whole thing. It's like I'm talking a big game, like I intervened. But at the end of the day, I didn't intervene that much. I just tried to get them. Once they were broken apart, I just stopped them from coming back together by throwing a little bit of money at the situation, which is why I was begging for money in the other video, because it's not my job. But if you pay me to do it, I will interject myself into situations more effectively. If you gave me a fat stack of cash, I can use that cash to help myself live a better life, provide myself better everything. But I can also throw out a couple bucks in a situation to stop a fight like I did there and not feel like I'm breaking the bank. And no, I didn't have to do that, and it's not my obligation, but that's what I did. And if other people want to support me in paying a victim not to take revenge, maybe other people want to get behind that. Maybe people just think that's stupid. But I think it was effective. So I'll just leave it at that. I'm Captain Canada, Joseph Arthur Roszell. I want to wish you all luck in the world. I love you, and I want you to remember that suicide is never the answer. Peace out for now.